I never expected that Soviet patriotism could be seen as a challenge by the Soviet authorities themselves. Just maybe to give you an example to make this a bit less abstract, there are many Polish tourists visiting Lviv in the beginning of the 1980s. And some of the local inhabitants really resent that because these Polish visitors sometimes get drunk, and when they're drunk, they sometimes claim that Lviv should be a Polish city. They engage in smuggling and currency speculation. Local population begin to write letters of complaint to the authorities saying, why don't you stop the inflow of such people who are disturbing the peace and stability of this region? And the authorities find themselves at a loss about how to react to this because they still want to maintain good diplomatic relations with socialist Poland. To offer you another example, there are major supply problems in Soviet Ukraine during the early 1980s. Throughout the Republic, people begin to criticize the authorities by saying, I am a loyal Soviet patriot. My father fought in the Great Patriotic War, as they would put it. I definitely condemn the strikes that are taking place in Poland. And as such a loyal citizen, I want to obtain more reliable information in the press about what's happening in the world. And I want there to be more sausage in my local store. And these kinds of complaints are phrased as loyal criticism, and the Soviet authorities really don't know what to do with that because they cannot label this dissent, they cannot arrest these people, and yet they cannot really satisfy their demands. So that's one thing I really found very surprising, that expressions of Soviet patriotism were challenging to the authorities. Another thing I found surprising was just how important Ukraine was in Soviet cultural and public diplomacy. During the Czechoslovak crisis in 1968, for example, it is Ukrainian institutions, the Ukrainian Communist Party, which is, of course, a part of the Soviet Communist Party, but it's an autonomous part within it. It's the Ukrainian Writers' Union. It's the Ukrainian communists from the western regions of Ukraine who are tasked with traveling to Czechoslovakia, speaking to Czechoslovak citizens about what's happening, and reporting back on what's happening in Czechoslovakia when they return to the Soviet Union. It is often Ukrainian singers or performers who are traveling to Eastern Europe to represent the Soviet Union there. The idea is that sending Ukrainian actors, Ukrainian singers across the border will prove to East Europeans that the Soviet Union is tolerant of ethnic diversity. So this is a very important aspect of Soviet cultural diplomacy. So I was really surprised by just how important Ukraine and Ukrainian culture was in Soviet foreign policy